their postings, and we do not know, what Lord has in store for us tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We might be dealing with something else. But you are all people from inside of the steel industry. So I would just give 3 pointers to you to provoke some discussion and also to have some suggestions from each one of you how governments, particularly state governments, can actually come forward to reduce some of the pain points which this industry continues to face. The first point, which came out quite clearly in all the deliberations which were made today in the inaugural session, as well as what we heard in our sister state Chhattisgarh session today, the first thing is the raw material security. If the country were to produce 300 million tons of steel by 2030, how much of iron ore, how much of coking coal, how much of dolomite, how much of limestone, how much of electricity, how much of water, how much of land will it need? So this is something which should be the topic number 1 for all of us to actually deliberate and give some solutions and suggestions. To make 1 ton of steel, you will need about 1.5 tons. उमेन जी एंड आचार्य जी, आप बता पाएंगे 1 टन स्टील के लिए 1.5 टन या
depends on the quality, 1.65 to 2 tons.
So since we have poor quality, so I'm just doubling it. If we were to make 300 million tons of steel in 2030, we will need at least 500 to 600 million tons of iron ore. What is the plan for that? And what is it that states like Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa, who are sitting on reserves of iron ore, what is it that we are doing and we can do in order to support this growth of steel industry so that raw materials become available? I am very happy to mention here before you that we were among the first states to have benefited from Government of India's new policy of mineral auctions, and we were early winners, early gainers in bringing more material, more mines to the table. But we have seen in the last few years, even if the growth of iron ore production in Orissa is ranging somewhere between 10 to 15% year on year, the demand for the steel industry is actually increasing even more, and which is a good sign, which is not something which is something which all of us have contributed, and this demand will continue to grow. We need to bring more material on the table. We need to bring more and more modes of material on the table. Just auctions or just commercial mining or just captive mining will not really solve the issue. Therefore, we would solicit suggestions from you. In Orissa, we have successfully auctioned more than 24 mines in the last 5 years. Those mines have started operating. The material availability is improving. However, we have seen a peculiar situation where, in spite of having more mineable reserves, the actual mining, the actual dispatch is certainly needing more and more improvement, so that secondary steel players, mid-ranking steel players who are 1 million ton, 3 million ton, 2 million ton in West Bengal or in Jharkhand or in Andhra Pradesh or in Maharashtra or in Punjab or in down south states, they can also get the raw material. It is only 3 or 4 states which can do so. As I speak today here, tomorrow we are auctioning, Odisha is auctioning another 8 minerals, and I would request each one of you to go to Government of Odisha website and see for yourself how those 8 mineral blocks, where the last date is tomorrow, 25th of April is the last date. So I exhort you, I request each one of you to take another look at this auction, and if possible, do participate in this auction. The second point, which continues to be a challenge, and which Honorable Prime Minister also mentioned in his inaugural address, is the logistics challenge. To make 1 ton of steel, we need to move 4 tons of material. Imagine a state like Orissa, where we have 40 million tons of steel being made today, which means that we are moving 160 million tons of material. Another 80 million tons of capacity is under implementation. Another about 300 million tons of material we will need to move. I was having a discussion with one of the senior representatives of the industry, Mr. Patwari. He has a plant, he has good plants in West Bengal. He is now setting up 2 plants in Orissa, one where production has already started. He mentioned to me, and I think he will repeat it here, that if you have a 10 million ton steel plant in a location or 10 million ton steel making capacity in a location, you need to move 40 million tons per annum, which means it actually translates to 40 rakes per day. 40 rakes per day in one location. And if we have 100 million tons in Odisha, we will need how many?
Nearly
Nearly 1,000, 10 into nearly 1,000 rakes per day. Do we have the rakes? Do we have the railway lines? Do we have the means to actually transport this material? Therefore, while we are focusing on raw material security, raw material availability, we also need to work on this breakneck speed on the logistics, whether it is road or rail. Coastal shipping could emerge, particularly for states like Odisha. We are fortunate to have 3 forts. Those of you who are located in Maharashtra or Gujarat or in southern states, you can actually use the coastal shipping route, which will reduce your cost of logistics substantially. We also need to move up the technology value chain for logistics. We cannot just live with roads and railways. Slurry pipelines is something which can actually solve this challenge. Imagine a place at Paradip where we have 2 stalwarts sitting here, Mr. Dilip Uman from AMNS and Mr. Jayant Acharya from JSW. Both of them taken together are adding capacities almost equal to 40 million tons in an area which is just 10 square kilometers at close to Paradip port. They are fortunate because our government has given them captive ports, so they will find a solution to their outgoing logistics, outbound logistics. Maybe they can bring limestone, they can even bring quality raw material someday from South Africa or Australia or anywhere, any place on earth. But if they were to transport 150 million tons of iron ore from Kionjar or Sundargarh to Paradip, can they do it on road? In which case we will need 100-lane road. Can they transport it on railways? In which case they will need at least 10 railway lines on ground level and another 10 railway lines on the second level actually to move. Therefore, slurry is a solution which we need to work on. I have just given 1 or 2 examples in order to provoke discussion and to solicit suggestions, but this is something which we have to keep on the table, on the radar, if we were to actually achieve the 300 million tons capacity. The third and the last point which I wanted to present before you, we have very good steel makers. We have outstanding steel makers in India who have actually brought us this far, and Odisha particularly is lucky, very fortunate to have all of them. They are our esteemed investors, whether it is ArcelorMittal or JSW, JSPL or JSL, whether it is Kalyani or Rashmi or Odisha Metallics or Rumtas, all of them are outstanding steel makers in India. Tata in India. JSW makes the best steel, AMNS makes the best steel, JSPL makes the best steel, Rumta makes the best steel, Shyam makes the best steel, Maheshwari makes the best steel. All of them are present in Odisha. But where are the steel plant manufacturers? Where are those people who manufacture rollers? Where are those who manufacture equipment required in steel plants? You can handle a capacity of 10 million ton, 20 million ton, 40 million ton by technology suppliers in Germany, in France, in Belgium, in China or in Korea. But with 300 million tons of steel being made in India, can you afford not to have SMS in Odisha or in Jharkhand? Can you afford not to have Danieli in India? Can you afford not to have more and more plants being set up by John Cockrell, by ThyssenKrupp, and by all other steel technology players in the world who today have marginal marketing, sales-oriented presence in India? Again, Odisha is lucky because of Ganjendra Pawarji from Danieli, who have actually discovered this opportunity in Odisha, in eastern India, where they are actually setting up plant. SMS already has a big facility, and this activity needs to improve. The refractory makers need to come, the steel rerollers need to come, the roller manufacturers, everything which is there inside a modern steel plant, those ecosystem players need to come, otherwise this cannot happen. We had exactly a similar situation in the power sector, because both myself and my senior Mr. Pondrik, the union secretary, we have worked in the power sector. In the power sector about 15-20 years ago, when the country started a very big push on coal-based thermal power, and large number of those companies, even PSUs like NTPC and others, they wanted to set up the coal-based thermal power plants on critical technology, supercritical technology. There was only one company, BHEL, which had only one 660 megawatt STG, BTG manufacturing facility in India. While those plants were supposed to come up in a period of 5 years, it actually took 15 years for our capacity to go from point X to point 3X, not because we did not have the money, not because we did not have the coal, not because we did not have the demand in India, but only because we did not have power plant equipment manufacturers in India who could have done 600 megawatt, 660 megawatt, 800 megawatt within India. We are entering a exactly similar situation in steel. If AMNS were to set up 24 million ton in Odisha, another 24 million in Andhra, or JSW were to set up 25 million tons in Odisha, JSPL were to do similar capacity in Chhattisgarh, where are the steel plant erectors? Where are those companies? They need to come. So this last point is that our steel making capacity needs to improve, ecosystem also needs to actually be looked at, and this steel also needs to be completed. We run an industrial policy in Odisha where, while we give a set of incentives to steel downstream players, we treat the steel ancillary and steel equipment manufacturing as the thrust sector. 30% capital investment subsidy without any upper limit, power at rupees 4, no GST, up to 200% of your investment in plant and machinery, and a slew of other incentives to whom? To players like Danieli, to players like SMS, to Thyssen Group, or to John Cockrell if they were to one day decide to come to Odisha. That is what we are trying to do at our own level in order to complete this ecosystem. Why is Krosaki setting up another refractory plant in Odisha? Or why is Magna from Spain or Caldris is setting up refractory manufacturing unit in Odisha? Because they can see this business. They can see business in Jharkhand, they can see business in Chhattisgarh, they can see business in Odisha, they have the existing business in West Bengal, but unless they come and serve this as a cluster, this will not happen. Therefore, our humble submission is that this industry together must develop in a cluster mode. We in Odisha are trying to set up 3 clusters, sir. One cluster has already come up near Kalingnagar, which is a natural place for making steel close to the mineral belt, not far away from the port. So we have basically looked at the map of our state, and we are setting up 3 clusters. One is the coastal cluster at Kendrapada, Jagatsinghpur, where large capacities, because port-based capacities need to be large. Central Odisha cluster, Kalingnagar, Angul, Dhenkanal, close to mine, close to port, equidistant from mine and port. You can do slurries, you can actually also be connected to the port. And finally, the Western Odisha cluster on the borders of Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, Jharsuguda, Sambalpur, Sundargarh, Raurkela, where steel making capacities are existing as well as are coming up. This is our humble submission. If we were to look at steel industry's growth, raw material, logistics, ecosystem improvement by way of clusterization can certainly help us. This is all that I wanted to bring to the notice of each one of you. I am once again thankful to the Ministry of Steel, particularly to the Honorable Minister and Honorable Secretary. He is also in charge of Odisha in his he is actually, Government of India has a system where one union government secretary has adopted a particular state, and we are very thankful and we are very excited that Sandeep Pondrik sir has actually adopted Odisha for helping us deregulate, for helping us improve our systems, for helping us improve our single window systems and the business speed of doing business. So thank you so much, sir, for giving Odisha this opportunity. And finally, I once again request you to please do assemble again here tomorrow exactly at 12 noon, where we have the Odisha specific session. We'll present to you some of the other opportunities which Odisha has to offer, and we will also have our Honorable Chief Minister tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sri Sharma, for very comprehensive statement. We will now make a minor modification in the program flow as desired by Secretary. We will now open, we'll have an open house discussion, but before I invite speakers, I've got a housekeeping rule. Please be brief and short in your observation so that we can give the opportunity to maximum number of participants. Thanks for your understanding. So let me first invite Sri Amitabh Mukherjee, if you have got some observations.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Two things that Mr. Sharma also raised was, one is the logistics. That is the main constraint. That would be the main constraint. We are blessed with a lot of ore, and with the right policies, I think there should not be an ore deficit, although the so-called think tanks of the world do estimate that around 50 to 60 million tons of iron ore would be imported by India by 2030 or something like that. I hope that situation does not arise. But one of the things that need to be fixed is the logistics, as you say. And in that, I think, as you rightly pointed out, slurry pipeline enabling environment, both legal and administrative, for slurry pipeline is absolutely essential. I would like to point out the case of petroleum sector. When I joined Indian Oil in '94, I think 60% or 70% of the transportation was by rail. Today it is not more than 5%, it's all slurry pipeline. I think for the mining industry, at least the iron ore mining, some similar sort of thing can be done. Another thing that we need to look at is the axle load of our wagons, the railway lines, the capacity of railway lines. So you cannot reduce the distance, let us say, between Kirandul and Vizag. You can't do that, but what you can do is increase the axle load and get more bang for the buck. So if you go to Australia, you see the axle load there is around 40 to 45 ton. Ours is 20 to 25 ton. So their rake, double the our size, takes 30,000 tons in a one trip. Our rake takes around 42 to 4,300 tons per. So unless you work at these, and because this is this is a doable thing essentially, because the iron ore corridor is essentially very fixed and not that long. We don't send iron ore to Punjab, or we don't send, and if we send it to the western part of the country, it is through coastal shipping. So the rail iron ore corridor is pretty manageable in terms of kilometerage, in terms of other things. So at least for that corridor, like the railway does, the DFCCIL, we should look at the axle load and the carrying capacity within the existing lines, so that our rakes can carry 30,000 instead of 4,000. The world does it. Why we can't do it is it's a matter of only a policy and the determination that yes, we need to do it. I think these are the two things that we needed to flag. Thankfully, God has blessed India with a lot of iron ore. We need to get our act right to extract that from here. It's a matter of policy, and I'm sure that right now things are much more conducive than they were day before yesterday, and I hope that tomorrow the legal and the administrative framework would be even more conducive for mining. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now turn to Mr. Jayant Acharya, if you have got.
Yeah, thank you very much. So in addition to what Amitabh said, I think I would add one more point on iron ore is to have enabling policies. Am I audible? Yeah, to have enabling policies on low-grade iron ore, because we have ample low-grade iron ore in the country. Beneficiation has to be encouraged, so we need enabling policies. I think it's already under discussion. If we can finalize that, that will open up a lot of opportunities. Logistics and infrastructure cannot be overstated. I totally agree with Mr. Hemant Sharma. Just to give a feel, 1 million ton is 4.5 to 5 million tons of movement, total movement. So if we are talking by 2030 that we'll go to 300 million of capacity, which is incrementally 100 million more, we will need to move 450 to 500 million tons additional incrementally from what we do today in the next 5 years. If you want to go to 500 million, which is incremental 300, you can multiply. So it's a huge volume, and I think we'll need to put together as an industry a plan region-wise. How do we tackle this? A combination of railways and a combination of slurry pipeline, I think, is the way forward. The third one is the demand. India is blessed again with a robust demand, and I would like to thank Secretary Steele for issuing the DMISP policy, which is mandated melt and poured. And that is one big step, I think, in the advent of India's growth. I think that will encourage using domestically produced melted and poured steel of India in all critical projects. We have done it for central projects. My request would be to see how we can expand this to all state projects, all public sector projects, all government funded and promoted projects. That is important for us to look at. The green taxonomy, which Steel Ministry has taken the initiative to launch, has been really positive. To encourage consumption of green steel, I think similar to the renewable power obligation which we had, already Ministry of Steel is working on that. 5-star rated, 4-star, 3-star rated consumption matrix. The sooner we can mandate consumption of this, I think the demand pull will come, and that will enable us to up the ante on green steel production. So these are the 3 points. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Aman, if you have got some observations.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all. As my preceding speakers have said, they are all very, very valid points, so I'll not repeat. But today I was really surprised when the Honorable Prime Minister talked about availability of raw material. He was saying that the miners who have acquired greenfield mines must start producing in time, because if iron ore production doesn't pick up by 2030 or thereabout, a stage might come where we might be forced to import iron ore. That should not be, it'll be a shame on India. So I think it is even, I know Honorable Minister and Honorable Secretary are looking at this, but it's a very, very crucial point, because there are people who are taking the mine, acquiring the mines and just not producing. So if it has come to the PMO's attention, I'm sure there is a solution in hand. As Mr. Jayant Acharya has said, this beneficiation of low-grade iron ore is so important. So if that could be speeded up. Slurry pipelines, as Mr. Hemant Sharma has said, if the only thing is that if this could be made a little simpler, getting the permits, getting the permissions today is a little difficult. So if that could be made easier, because there is no friendlier transportation method than the slurry pipeline. Also it was very interesting to hear Honorable Prime Minister talking about the government projects being mandated to use domestic steel and, if possible, some amount of green steel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Stefano, if you have got some observations to make, please.
Thank you for the opportunity, and good afternoon to everybody. Well, a lot of good points have been already raised, but I would like to pick up in particular 2 of them. We have mentioned the localization, and I would like to tell you shortly what we are doing, what my company is doing regarding this. We are moving in 2 directions. One is the localization of our manufacturing assets. That is, we have already large workshop in Odisha, and we are building a new large workshop in Gujarat. And we are doing this for 2 reasons. First of all, because we want, and this is a little trivial, to be competitive. And second, because we want to be close to our customers. We want to manufacture our equipment here. We want to give servicing to our equipment here, and we want to do as close as possible to our customers to serve them better. And not on one-time basis, but on the continuous life cycle of their operations. Second, regarding technology, we are also localizing technology in the sense that we are building competence and transferring know-how from our competence centers in Europe to India. And to do this, we are developing people. This year, SMS will be hitting about 3,000 people employed in our facilities, both offices and manufacturing here in India. And we hope with this to be able to be on the side of our customers and of the country in this marvelous journey to increase this capacity. Last point, technology-wise, We have a good knowledge of the constraints that our steel producers here are facing in terms of availability of raw material, and our research and our product portfolio is full of solutions for new plants, for the biggest quality iron ore, but also for the lowest quality iron ore. We have solutions that can help our customers to use the materials that are available here.
Thank you. Mr. Franco David Materno.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's an honor, a privilege to be here in the CEO Roundtable. I would like to add 4 points under the form of 4 verbs, which I believe, and John Cockerill supports the growth of steel in China, in India. First of all, incentive. We need to incentivize green technology, green steel. India has an opportunity, unique opportunity to lead on green steel. We have seen that in the US, there is a standby due to, let's say, another direction that the government is taking, especially the DOE in the US. China is in a demand crisis, and Europe is resetting its green steel package and incentive. So I think if there is a cheap electricity available, green electricity available in India, that will help the steel mills really to go into it. We need also to incentivize electrolyzers and hydrogen. We have seen that next year the first DRI electrolyzers plant in the world will start in Sweden. Sweden, because the electricity there is abundant and cheap and available. If we can reproduce that here, and we can support totally with John Cockerill, with our electrolysis technology, this kind of project. We are building the biggest electrolysis plant in India right now with Greenco. And we have as well a price of hydrogen close to $3 to $4 currently. So we are not there where we should be, but we are getting closer to that. I think that could be a very helpful step. The second one is we need to protect the steel mills in India. We need to avoid that we have cycles of continuous inflow of material coming from countries who desperately seek to get rid of their material. And there have been very strong decisions taken, and we need to continue to do so. Steel mills cannot invest and cannot invest in green technology if they don't make profit. And I think we have to protect that value chain. The third point is foster demand. I think incentivize the industry by demand, bridges, roads, infrastructure, buildings will help everybody to organize itself in terms of providing the right product mix, the right technology. And if this demand is green, that will just accelerate the green move I was talking about. And the last point is to sustain R&D, local R&D. I think you have mentioned a lot of prestigious company in terms of technology provider. We are ready to be part of it and to localize completely our R&D. Why not building for small and medium steel mills, not only the big ones, but a solution which would help them to do steel making out of local iron ore, local coal, local electricity, diminishing the logistics and providing a standardized, low but efficient solution for small and medium enterprises in terms of steel making. We are ready to do that. We are ready to invest our time, our R&D people, our know-how, so that we can build for the country not only the big players, but also the small ones, 300 to 500 tons tailor-made solution for India. Thank you very much.
Thanks. May I now invite Sri Sanjay Singh?
Thank you. In fact, most of the points have already been covered by JNG and...
So your voice is not audible.
I just like to highlight one most important
So
You
could
have
you
to press.
speak a bit louder, sir? Console, if you can just see if the microphone is working properly.
In fact, most of the points have already been covered. I would just like to mention a couple others. Like for steel sector, as was mentioned from there, that steel sector need returns, and for that we need to produce in competitive manner at the competitive prices. For that to happen, the raw material is required to be sourced in at the right prices. In fact, the kind of data which has come before us, there are certain mines of iron ore which are auctioned. I mean, at 150% of the premium. So that's not the right kind of pricing for which would generate the adequate return. Then after that, when the steel is not being produced in competitive manner, then the measures like trade measures which have recently been deployed, I mean, they are required. So my point here is that we can be competitive without trade measures. That's number one. That requires couple of things: raw material availability at the right prices. Logistics is another one which has been mentioned by JNG. And one more thing was mentioned about the slurry pipelines. Regarding slurry pipeline, that reduces a lot of cost. But there, the proactive support of the state government is required. I mean, like for instance, Jindal Steel and Power slurry pipeline is under construction for quite a long time. So for that to happen, some more than support is required for that to really be available. So if all these things are in place and ecosystem is built and we remain competitive, then definitely, I mean, that's what how we can really go forward in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sri Amrinder Prakash, Chairman SAIL.
Good points already covered by the industry. I agree with all of that. One thing over and above what has already been spoken will be logistics. As we know, producing 1 ton of steel practically moving in 3.5 tons of raw material, and then the finished 1 ton which goes out. So every million ton will mean moving 4.5 million ton of goods. India primarily moves its goods through Indian Railways, through railway tracks. As we have seen over past decade, in last 10 years, first we thought there was a shortage of rakes. Rakes are not available, so Indian Railways came up with a GPWI scheme, SFTO scheme. And so every steel maker got rakes. So we have got rakes, but even at that time, we have been trying to point out that till the tracks and power are available, this material just cannot be moved. If we look at, for example, Odisha, rich iron ore base, rich steel industry, all the players are there, everybody is ready to invest and everybody is ready to move it. But then we find on already existing sectors, the number of rakes has increased, the speed has dropped, which is quite common. So the railway infrastructure will have to be pulled up in a big way in order to support India's endeavor to actually produce and sell 300 million tons of steel. That will mean about 1400 million tons of material will have to be moved. We need to focus on that, not just in terms of rakes, but actual infrastructure on the ground will need to be built up very fast in order to be there. Slurry pipeline will be one step in easing off the load on this, but then slurry pipelines have been getting stuck up in right-of-way issues. There we feel both the central government and state government can support the industry by coming up with suitable schemes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sanjay Kumar Verma.
It's the truth that almost all the points are covered. But to make my point, I think for slurry, we need to think something like Urja Ganga project, where the entire requirement of the country is assessed and pipelines are drawn for almost all the industry. Probably for companies to get it through, it's very difficult, but the government takes up this job on some way. This problem can be solved in a big way. That's one. Secondly, I think the country has got enough talent for taking up manufacturing of almost any kind of equipment. that needs to be looked into in terms of what kind of restrictions are there in the business, and that needs to be removed for better environment for domestic manufacturing for critical equipment to pick up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mi- Sorry, Mr. Vijay Sharma, if you want to make some.
Yeah, namaskar. Sir, I would like to raise my concern about the global trade challenges created by surplus irresponsible capacities augmentation by countries like China. I believe that globalization is turning to nationalization, and unfortunately it is going to stay. Exports opportunities are diminishing and imports is no more a threat, it is a reality. Sir, 3 pointers, short term. To enable industry go for country specific level playing trade barriers, removal of lesser duty rule concept, number one. Number two, the ROC 22% to be considered a very good number needs to be reviewed because we have to reinvest. Point number two, midterm. Thanks for the bilateral relations, but somewhere we have the experience of ASEAN, Korea, Japan, FTAs. We have yet to see Dubai as well as Australia, though we are thankful for melt and pour, and we hope that Europe and USA are in the right direction. Long term domestic consumption, I believe that capacities will come. I believe that securitization will happen very fast, but the consumption needs a different focus. My point is on the sustainability based beyond carbon, and my point is of cement to steel ratio. World average 2.2 cement to 1 steel, USA 1.3 to 1, Japan, Korea 0.7 to 1, and India 3 to 1. That will give a huge impetus for the multiplying growth of steel, and of course stainless steel being 3.5%, it will naturally grow along with. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the last intervention from Hitoshi-san. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello. Yes. I think that Mr. Sharma talked something about the. I think that Mr. Sharma talked something about the localization. I mean the Indianization of the technology supplier. I quite agree with you in such a viewpoint. Okay, this is first point. Second point, I mean that please imagine if we establish a big factory in India. Okay, in order to maintain that such big factory, of course we need a continuous workload. Otherwise, suddenly we will fire the people. I don't like to do that, right? So, in order to cover, in order to avoid such situation, such factory should cover not only the Indian market, but also the global market, of course. Okay? So, in such view, we have already, since long back, we have already established our factory in Japan and China. Okay? And just please imagine, we should keep their workload. Challenge is that if we suddenly, in the next year, we establish a big factory in India, how we can keep our workload in China and Japan? In global view, it is one of the challenge. But we are not so stupid to leave it as it is. Other approach is that I mean that we established a small factory just focusing on the key equipment, which we should keep that the intellectual property right. And the volume manufacturing is that in India, you have the nice factories. You have the power sector. Of course, that currently you have the steel industry there. So existing supplier, we should utilize more and more. But some, I mean, training, education, or some control or the management is required. This is one of the approach to utilize that as much as possible that the existing that the suppliers, while keeping that intellectual property, while protecting intellectual property right. This is one of the approach. This is one of the format of the localization. Just for your reference, I would like to put this point.
Thank you, sir. Before I invite Secretary Sir to address the delegates, my apologies because of the time constraint. We have not been able to give the floor to everyone. Okay. Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Tatria, you wanted to make some intervention.
Good afternoon. I am from secondary sector, so and we all know that secondary sector also is, if not more, equally contributing for the nation building. Almost equal production is coming from the secondary sector. It provides good employment. The GST contribution is higher. The export growth in secondary sector, because of the value-added component, it is contributing large in the export segment. So, knowing the vision of 2047 that we want to become a developed nation, so certainly there is a good opportunity for the entire steel sector, including the secondary sector. So, as far as demand is concerned, we are quite optimistic that good demand is going to be there. Secondary sector has certain advantage of sustainability, that green steel, because we are using recycled material. So we can contribute in a significant manner on the green steel side. So opportunities are certainly there. There are certain challenges. The secondary sector, they are all medium and small players. So there is always a challenge of raw material security. Everyone cannot acquire the mines, and entire steel cannot be produced through the DRI. So we are having a dependency on the recycled scrap. And as in the inaugural session also, it was highlighted that we are depending on the import. So we need to ensure that these export countries should not put any kind of restriction in export of scrap, because that is our key raw material. So that in any of the bilateral or MTA agreement, we need to keep in mind. Second is the secondary sector is power intensive sector. So uniform power tariff should be there across the country, which we every time we were advocating. Third, in certain cases like in stainless steel segment, knowing well that we have invested a large capex in line with the Make in India mission, and major market is the Europe and USA. Lot of restrictions they have imposed. Domestic market is limited for the long product. So we need to ensure that in whenever BTA or MTAs are done, the secondary sector export front should also be protected. These are suggestions.
Thank you, sir. Very quickly, Mr. Gupta and Mr. Gajendra Panwar, request is kindly be brief so that we can wind up on time.
Sir, everybody is talking of commodity steel, so I would like to just mention a few things which are related to superalloys and high-end specialty steels. The usage of superalloys and high-end specialty steels go into the manufacturing of strategic and critical sectors like defense, aerospace, nuclear, oil and gas, automotive, energy and medical, implants and all. So there are few challenges I would like to bring it to your to the kind August gathering. One is the 25% tariff put in by EU. So this is again a quota of 29,000 per quarter, and above that 25% tariff is, we are subjected to 25% punitive tariff. US set 25% tariff on all steel products. This is one. There is a pending DFARS agreement between MOD India and MOD America, wherein if this agreement is signed, SOSA has been signed by Honorable Defense Minister Ji. So second step is to sign DFARS so that Indian steel makers, specialty steel maker can be allowed to participate in the defense programs of either the offset, Indian offsets or American programs. This is two. Third is the Mercosur region, South America. they are subjecting our steel to 16 to 27%. So this is again an area of concern. We are allowing them to, import in the country at 7.5%. Their steels are, our export to them is almost 16 to 27%. So rod tap has not been given to us, 72 chapter, 73 chapter. So this is again a pending demand. We request the steel ministers have to consider for PLI for the defense and strategic sector. This is another one. Chapter 75 is not been acknowledged by Steel Ministry. So again we request sir to kindly allow chapter 75, and there is no duty as on today on chapter 75 goods. It is being imported at duty free. So there has to be at least 7.5 to whatever.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gajendra Panwar, in short, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to bring to the attention, I am from Danieli, one of the leading technology company in the steel industry. I would like to bring to the attention of Honorable Minister of State and Honorable Steel Secretary, Mr. Sharma and Mr. Tripathi, that whatever latest technology, state-of-art technology is there anywhere in the world that is available in India, on behalf of Danieli, I am assuring the August gathering, and many of our esteemed customers know it. We are also making most of these noble equipment now in India. You will be surprised that we are exporting to most of the biggest steel producers of US, Europe, from India, from our factories. We have invested heavily in Andhra Pradesh, and as Mr. Sharma said, we are going to invest in Odisha also. As my fellow from the industry, Mr. Hitoshi mentioned, that for technology, we are bringing the technology into India. We are making 80–90% equipment in India. We are bringing technology to India, but our business being very cyclic, we are not being supported from that perspective that we are investing in India, and off and on the cycle goes down, then we have a big suffering. But this incentivization of that we are bringing the technology to India and making proprietary equipment in India, there is no such incentive available to us. Last point, all latest technologies I said for green steel technology, we have the best technology for gas-based DRI production, which can replace the coal-based DRI production, provided there is some incentivization on the availability of gas or the green steel produced using gas-based DRI.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. May I now request Sri Sandeep Pondrik, Secretary Minister of Steel, to address the delegates.
Good afternoon. I know it is a very difficult time to remain awake just after lunch. I hope you have not taken a very heavy lunch. Especially we Indians are quite used to take heavy lunches. But so I would like to touch upon some of the points which have been raised by Honorable Prime Minister and by the participants here. I have noted down some of the points which were raised. First is logistics. Now, some of the points which were raised was that slurry pipeline. Yes, I think this is one thing which steel companies and mining companies will have to focus on. There is no other alternative. One good suggestion came from CMD Mecon that maybe we can think about something like a common carrier kind of thing, or a Urja Ganga kind of model where we make a bigger slurry pipeline on a common route and then connect feeder pipelines. So that's a good idea. What I keep telling my colleagues in steel industry is that you may talk about railway congestion, but put yourself in the place of railways. What is more important for railways?
iron ore, passengers, coal, they have to take care of everything. Iron ore is not their primary concern. First of all, they will use the tracks for passengers because that is the most important area for any public utility. But even coal comes better at higher priority than iron ore because it leads to power and power outages cannot be allowed. So you are not in railways high priority, let us be honest about it. The best way, while railway is doing what it can, Chairman Sale gave, I think Chairman Sale or somebody gave some suggestions about axle load, I think CMD and MDC. But one way is to decongest railways by shifting iron ore to slurry pipelines to the extent possible. AMNS is doing a lot of slurry pipelines, we are aware. I think this is the best way while we keep following it up with railways to make more tracks. Rakes is easy, tracks is more difficult, time consuming. Coming to mining, we talk a lot about steel, we don't talk much about mining. Honorable Prime Minister had a very important statement today that greenfield mining, whoever has taken should start mining. I think that's a very important thing. Since 2015-16, iron ore, not iron ore, all mines are being bid, allocated based on auctions, but not many of them, or rather most of them have not started production or not even near production. That has made the government very concerned, because if we don't have 450 million tons of iron ore by 2030, what do? Do we import? While we sit on reserves of billions of tons of iron ore. So that's not a feasible option. I would also suggest to some of the players, I know that some of the players are also, who are sitting here, are also bidders for iron ore mines. I don't know how 150% premium works. I honestly don't know. How can you run a mine? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just posing and I'm not here to embarrass anybody. I'm just posing an honest question. How does a 150 or anything above 100%, how does it work? And mind you, most of the mines are being auctioned above 100%. So my suggestion is just to take mines people are doing, I think the word is ultra aggressive bidding. Let us be also practical on what is the actual percentage of bidding on which a mine can actually be run. Because when we bid 150% of the mine, what we are saying that I will sell the iron ore at 5,000 rupees a ton and will give government 9,000 rupees a ton on that. So I will basically run the mine at a loss of 4,000 rupees per ton. How does this economics work? I at least cannot understand. I am sure there must be something which I don't know, but please be mindful of the long-term consequences, because it will put the country at a problem. Beneficiation, I totally agree with, I think Mr. Jayant Acharya mentioned about beneficiation. Ministry of Mine is already bringing a MMDR Act amendment to incentivize beneficiation. I think it's in the final stages. So I totally agree that it should be done, and it is being done. On the demand side, we don't see any problem, as I said in the morning and as the Honorable Prime Minister said. On the demand side, we see no problem. In fact, we see India as a future hub of steel making by increasing demand and increasing capacity. On the capacity addition side, to match this demand, we will basically need $100 billion in next 6 years to have 100 million tons of capacity. And that basically, that will come only when the prices are right. You cannot invest if you don't have reasonable margins, at least, if not good margins. So government has taken steps to protect the domestic industry, including safeguard duty. We will be taking more steps. There are anti-dumping investigations underway, as you know. We are also bringing almost all grades of steel under quality control orders, so that low quality steel is not dumped into the country. So we are taking whatever we can to ensure that the domestic industry is protected and they are able to invest in the industry. On the green steel point, while we are working on the green steel mission and procurement policy to incentivize procurement in the government, one point which I wanted to point out specifically to the technology companies, I think Primetal is here, Danieli is here, SMS is here. When we talk about green steel, I was in a conference in Europe about green steel, and the discussion about green steel was totally different from what is the real situation in India. So what I am trying to say is that the green steel for Europe or green steel for America may not be the green steel for India. We are still, the people on my left are still adding blast furnaces in India, while Europe is talking about phasing out blast furnaces and going to the electric arc furnace. So what is possible in Europe, not possible in India. So we have to talk about in the real context of the setting. When we talk about India, we have to talk about how can we green the BF-BOF route, which is the predominant steel route, by more efficiency, by renewable power usage, by improving the technology. All of that need to be talked about rather than EAF, for which we don't have the scrap. Where is the scrap for EAF? Last year we used 34 million tons of scrap, out of which 9 million ton was imported. So we could generate only 25 million ton of scrap. Now if suppose JSW or Tatas or AMNS puts a big EAF, from where they will get the scrap? Because all countries are regulating the scrap. They are not allowing scrap to be exported. So that seems a difficult route. I think we will have to see policy technologies which are useful in the context of India. Localization, lot of discussion on localization. Let me put the perspective of the government on localization. We are of the firm view that Indian plants should be made by technologies, and manufacturing to the extent possible must be made in India, not only for India but from India for the world. We are bringing out policies to support this objective. For example, for government or PSUs, we will be making it mandatory to give preference to plants which are made in India or which are mostly made in India. So anybody who is manufacturing in the country will have an advantage over somebody who is bringing equipment from outside. While we help what Mr. Pawar mentioned, I think that is the way to go, to bring technologies and manufacturing both in India. I know that many of the technologies, many of the people, see, we have a handful of people who are providing technologies for most of the plants, at least the bigger plants. If you can make, say in China, you can make in India, right? So there is no, So please, for Indian plants, make in India. That's what our policy objective will be, and we will be taking steps in that direction. Specialty steel, I mentioned briefly. I think Prime Minister focused on specialty steel. We brought 2 rounds of PLI. We will be bringing another in another 2-3 months. We want again that most of the grades should be available in India. I will again request the players sitting here that they should focus on specialty steel. We should not be dependent on imports for specialty steel, and we have asked for suggestions what grades need to be included in the next round of PLI. So we are open to suggestions, and we want to bring specialty steel production in the country, increase it to the extent possible. Last point, digitization. As I keep saying that digitization will have to be done, especially using the AI, ML or automation, whatever. I think technology companies and steel companies both will have to work together to increase the efficiency in the steel market. Steel market will always be competitive, and bringing out efficiencies is the only way to survive and to grow. But I am sure that with the increasing consumption and push of the government on infrastructure, steel sector in the country has a bright future. I am sure that the people sitting here, they will not only be making for the country, but will also become big exporters. The Prime Minister has given us a target of 25 million ton of exports. I am sure you will be able to achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Sir. Now it's my honor to invite the Honorable Minister of State for Steel and Heavy Industries, Government of India, for his address. Sir.
These esteemed dignitaries, industry leaders, officials from the ministry, and distinguished guests and other participants, good afternoon. I thank each one of you for coming together and participating in this India Steel 2025. The main focus areas of the summit are raw material security, capacity expansion, green transition, and digitization, on which various roundtable sessions are held. Under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, we envision to make the country self-reliant, that is Atmanirbhar in steel. The domestic steel demand is projected to grow at 7% per annum between 2025 and 2030. As we advance towards our target of 300 million ton steel capacity by 2030, as outlined in the National Steel Policy 2017, addressing decarbonization is key priority for the ministry. I request all the industry leaders to align their production activities with the sustainability goals. Fluctuating global demand, rise in regional protectionist policies, carbon-related trade measures present challenges to India's steel exports. To address this issue, the focus should be on prioritizing product innovation, cost efficiency, and value-added steel production to cater to high-growth international markets. I would like to highlight the fact that India still imports specialized steel, making it a good opportunity to work upon by all the industry groups. Similarly, prioritizing technology adoption, both in terms of investments in R&D as well as technology transfers from advanced countries, will improve operational performance and help automate the production. We also need to prepare the future workforce of our country, of our industry. We urge all the industry leaders to focus on industry academia engagement and ensure continuous upskilling of your workforce. On the whole, India's steel industry is facing defining movement. Despite global headwinds and domestic challenges, with a strategic approach and technology adoption, the industry cannot only overcome its challenges, but also lead India's next phase of industrial growth. Thank you all once again.
That brings us almost to the close of this CEO's forum. I will just take 30 seconds before we conclude the meeting. In fact, I will conclude with a pleasant task which I am supposed to perform, to propose a vote of thanks. So, first and foremost, I would like to thank each one of you, all the participants who have taken time off, joined, and again, I seek your indulgence because I have not been able to give the floor to everyone. All the participants, I'm sure you would agree with me, the distinguished panelists, including the Honorable Minister of State, have done wonderful job because they have laid out the vision, they have laid out the wonderful statement and the way forward. So, in honor of Minister of State, in honor of Secretary Steel, Sri Hemant Sharma ji, and of course Mr. Vinod Kumar Tripathi, I would like to request all of you to carry out the vote of thanks with a round of applause. Thanks everyone. Namaskar. This CEO roundtable stands concluded. Thank you.
dignitaries. We are happy to have everyone here today, and I would like to first of all pass the floor to esteemed Mr. Sandeep Pundrik, Secretary, Ministry of Steel, Government of India. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a India-Russia roundtable, and I am very happy to welcome Russian delegation led by Mr. Mikhail Yurin, the Deputy Minister of Russia, to this India Steel Conference and to the India-Russia Roundtable. As all of us know that India and Russia has a long-standing relationship, not only in steel but in all sectors. Russia is world's 5th largest crude steel producer with about 71 million tons of steel production, and Russia produces about 110 million metric tons of coking coal, which is one of the highest in the country, in the world. We also have trade in finished steel. In this year 24-25, India exported about 28 million tons of finished steel to Russia and imported about 148 million tons of steel from Russia. So we have a good, 1,000 tons, both 27,000 tons and 148,000 tons of steel trade between the countries. I think the primary interest as far as steel sector is concerned with Russia is first of all the coking coal supply to India. India was primarily dependent on Australia for coking coal import, but in recent years the coking coal supply from Russia to India has increased. If we see the data, in 22-23, Indian companies imported about 4.5 million tons of coking coal from Russia. In 23-24, it increased to 5.26, and in 24-25, it further increased to about 7.91 million tons, which is about 14% of coking coal import in the country. So Russia, Australia supplies about 44% of our imports, and Russia supplies about 14%, and the supply of coking coal from Russia is increasing, as I mentioned. Our interest is that the coking coal supply from Russia may further increase, and in addition to the soft coking coal which is being supplied by Russian companies to India, hard coking coal may also be supplied so that the trade can go further. Russia also has reserves of nickel, and Indian companies, stainless steel companies, are interested in having nickel for manufacturing of stainless steel. So that is another area of interest. We will also be interested if Indian companies can work together with Russian companies in Russia to run or acquire assets, mining assets, and run them. The last point I would like to make is that technology, and specifically in mining, because mining in India, both of iron ore, coking coal is increasing. We will be interested in getting technology, the latest technology for better mining operations, improving the efficiency so that the mining efficiency in India also increases. So I think these are the three broad sectors of collaboration: coking coal supply, nickel supply, acquisition of assets by Indian companies in Russia in collaboration with Russian companies, and technology transfer and technology collaboration. I once again welcome the Russian delegation to India Steel Conference, and I am sure that this dialogue will go further and our relationship with Russia will go stronger and better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep Pundrik, for your valuable inputs, and I would like now to pass the floor to esteemed Mr. Mikhail Yurin, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Industry and Trade, Government of the Russian Federation.
Уважаемый господин Сандип Пундрик, уважаемые коллеги, большое спасибо за предоставленную возможность вести прямой и открытый диалог в рамках нашего круглого стола Индия-Россия о развитии металлургической промышленности.
Thank you, Mr. Pundrik. Thank you, Ministry of Steel, for giving us an opportunity to have this open dialogue within this exhibition, India Steel.
Также я хотел бы поблагодарить правительство Индии, Министерство стали Индии и Федерацию индийских торгово-промышленных палат за организацию и проведение 6-й международной выставки и конференции India Steel.
So I would like once more time to thank the Government of India, FICCI and Ministry of Steel for holding 6th International Exhibition and Conference India Steel.
Вы представляете всем участникам, делегатам, бизнесу и другим ключевым лицам, принимающим решения в сталелитейной и других смежных отраслях, возможность взаимодействовать и изучать новые направления отрасли и бизнеса.
You provide all participants, delegates, businesses and other key decision makers in the steel and other related industries with an opportunity to interact and explore new areas and industry and business.
Россию и Индию связывают давние отношения, основанные на прочном фундаменте многолетней дружбы и взаимной симпатии народов обеих стран.
Russia and India have a long-standing relation based on a solid foundation on long-standing friendship and mutual sympathy between people of both countries.
Эти узы скреплены не только экономической и политической выгодой взаимодействия сторон, но и общностью взглядов на основные вопросы развития системы международных отношений.
These ties are cemented not only by the economic and political benefits of interaction between the parties, but also by the common views on the main issues of development of the international relation systems.
Сегодня российско-индийские отношения носят характер особо привилегированного стратегического партнерства.
Today, Russian-Indian relations are in a status of special privileged strategic partnership.
Индия занимает важное место в новой концепции внешней политики Российской Федерации, принятой 31 марта 2023 года.
India states an important place in the new foreign policy concept of the Russian Federation, which was approved on 31st March 2023.
В данной концепции отмечено, что Россия будет и далее наращивать партнерство с Республикой Индия в целях расширения уровня взаимодействия во всех сферах на взаимовыгодной основе и уделять особое внимание увеличению объемов двусторонних торговых, инвестиционных и технологических связей, обеспечению их устойчивости.
This concept notes that Russia will continue to build up its partnership with the Republic of India in order to expand the level of interaction in all areas on a mutually beneficial basis and pay special attention to increasing the volume of bilateral trade, investment, technological ties and ensuring their sustainability.
Для этого ведется непрерывная работа по обеспечению благоприятных условий реализации потенциала двустороннего взаимодействия.
To this end, continuous work is being carried out to ensure favorable conditions for making the potential of bilateral interaction.
Одной из конкретных задач является договоренность лидеров России и Индии в ходе переговоров в Москве о наращивании товарооборота между странами до $100 миллиардов США к 2030 году.
One of the specific high-level tasks should be considered the agreement between the leaders of our countries, which is to increase the trade turnover between the countries up to $100 billion by 2030.
Наши страны успешно стремятся к достижению данного показателя, превысив по итогам 2024 года значение двустороннего товарооборота в $70 миллиардов США.
Our countries are successfully striving to achieve this figure, exceeding it by the end of 2024 with the value of bilateral trade turnover of $70 billion.
Следует отметить, что в двусторонней торговле важную роль играет не сырьевая и не энергетическая продукция.
It should be noted that the non-source, non-energy products play an important role in bilateral trade.
Россия и Индия имеют потенциал для развития сотрудничества, в том числе и в сфере металлургии.
Russia and India have the potential to develop cooperation, including in the field of metallurgy.
Сотрудничество в этой области началось еще в середине прошлого века, когда совместными усилиями наших специалистов были реализованы проекты по строительству и запуску индийских металлургических предприятий, Бхилайский металлургический завод и металлургический завод Боккара.
Cooperation in this area began in the middle of the last century, when jointly Russian and India specialists implemented the projects to build and launch such Indian metallurgical plants as Bhilai and Bokaro steel plants, respectively.
Оба предприятия на сегодняшний день входят в структуру индийской государственной компании SAIL.
Both enterprises are currently as a part of Indian state-owned company SAIL.
Помимо регулярных двусторонних поставок металлургической продукции, между нашими странами можно отметить несколько знаковых проектов российских компаний на территории Индии.
In addition to the regular bilateral deliveries of metallurgical products between our countries, several significant projects of Russian companies can be noted in India.
Группой НЛМК реализован проект по строительству завода по производству электротехнической трансформаторной стали в Индии.
NLMK Group has implemented a project to build and now operate the production of electrical transformer steel in India, Maharashtra state.
Компания «Русал» в марте 2025 года заключила соглашение с компанией «Пионер» и группой компаний о поэтапном приобретении 26% акций компании, занимающейся производством глинозема в штате Андхра-Прадеш.
In March 2025, the UC Rusal company acquired 26% of the Pioneer company in order to produce alumina in Andhra Pradesh state.
Коллеги, совместными усилиями бизнеса и профессионального сообщества мы намерены продолжать создавать условия для устойчивого развития металлургической отрасли наших стран.
Dear colleagues, through the joint efforts of business and the professional community, we intend to continue create conditions for the sustainable development of metallurgical industry of both our countries.
Спасибо большое. Предлагаю перейти к обсуждению тем круглого стола.
In this regard, I would like to thank you one more time, all the dignitaries, and would like to start discussing the topics of the round table. Now, I'm passing the floor to Mr. Fetisov Ivan Yurovich, the Consul General, Consulate of Russian Federation in Mumbai, India.
Hello. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to all participants and involved in the organization of this round table. I would also like to thank His Excellency Mr. Mikhail Nikolaevich Yurin and His Excellency Shri Mr. Sandip Pandrikji for their personal participation in this event. Russia and India share a rich history of cooperation in the metallurgical sector. A shining example, as Mr. Yurin said, is the Bhilai steel plant, built with Russian support in 1955. It was not only a milestone of industrial growth, but also a symbol of enduring friendship between our two great nations. Today, our partnership continues to develop. Over the past 3 years, trade in metallurgy has grown multiply. Looking ahead, we see promising opportunities, increasing mutual supplies, advancing technology exchange, and jointly working toward a more modern, sustainable steel industry. We hope today's discussion will serve an important step forward in deepening our cooperation for mutual benefit and in the spirit of trust that has long united our nations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fetisov. And now I would like to start the first topic of our roundtable, which is considering the supplies of metallurgical products from Russia to India, including the coking coal. And at this point, I would like to pass the word to Mr. Petr Babelov, the Director of the Coal Industry Department, Ministry of Energy of the Russian Federation.
Уважаемые коллеги, друзья, рад приветствовать вас и благодарю за предоставленное слово и возможность выступить на этом замечательном мероприятии.
Dear colleagues, I greet you on behalf of the Ministry of Energy of the Russian Federation. I'm grateful to be invited and having the opportunity to take part in this event.
Правительство Индии поставило себе задачу выйти на производство 300 миллионов тонн стали уже к 2030 году. Для достижения этой цели Индии потребуется коксующийся уголь. И коксующийся уголь не менее чем 160 миллионов тонн по нашим расчетам с зольностью никак не более 14%. На сегодня большинство индийских углей имеют зольность около 40%. Поэтому мы хотели бы начать с того, что мы, российская сторона, являющаяся на сегодня одним из самых крупных поставщиков коксующихся углей в Индию, планируем быть участниками в этой совместной работе.
The government of India aims to produce 300 million tons of steel by 2030. To achieve this goal, India will require more than 160 million tons of coking coal with an ash content up to 14%, while the majority of coking coal produced in the Republic of India has ash content about 40%. In turn, Russian coal meets the highest quality standards. What we would like to have, we would like to increase our cooperation in coal sector. Right now is one of the major coal suppliers to India.
По итогам прошлого года Российская Федерация поставила в Индию более 27 миллионов тонн угля. Для примера, в 2021 году их было всего лишь 6 миллионов тонн, то есть мы выросли более чем в 4 раза.
We know that the end by 2024, Russian being one of the leaders of coal suppliers, in terms of coal supplies in India, with volume of 27.5 million tons. In 2021, this volume was 6.6 million. So up for 4 times the coal from Russia raised right now.
Осенью 2021 года в Москве на российско-индийской неделе был подписан меморандум, который между индийской и российской стороной. Одним из основных условий этого меморандума являлось достижение уровня в 40 миллионов тонн поставок российского угля к 1935 году.
During the Russian Energy Week, the memorandum of understanding between Russia and India was signed, and this memorandum was aimed to increase of coking coal supply up to 40 million tons.
Меморандум бесспорно показал свою результативность, и одним из наших предложений сегодня будет рассмотреть возможность разработки совместного меморандума с индийской стороной о поставках энергетического угля, почти половина поставок от России энергетический уголь, а также разработки межправ соглашения между Россией и Индией, которое бы только усилило данную работу.
We see that this is memorandum of understanding of coking coal supplies is working very good right now, and we're suggesting to sign a next memorandum of understanding of supplying like energy coal and to increase energy coal supply from the Russian Federation.
Несмотря на то, что угли в Индии для производства стали, для достижения ваших высоких целей в 300 миллионов тонн является дефицитным товаром, и Россия наращивает объемы поставки как коксующихся, так и энергетических углей в Индию, существует одна из проблематик, которая мешает нам усилить этот объем поставок. Это до сих пор существующие пошлины, которые действуют у нас как на полукокс 5%, так и 2,5%. Это важные таможенные пошлины на весь российский уголь.
And for sure, despite the fact that India coal market is now in short supply, currently all Russian coal is subject to import custom duties. It is a big problem for us, and we see a problem right there of 2.5%, and the import duties on coke and semi-coke are 5% right now.
Хотел бы отметить, что от ряда других поставщиков из других стран углей в Индию данные пошлины отсутствуют.
And I would like also to highlight that several suppliers, other suppliers from other market, are not subject to such duties.
И, конечно, наше второе предложение, которое мы бы хотели сегодня акцентировать, это все-таки еще раз подойти к проблематике ввозных таможенных пошлин в Индию на российский уголь, что бесспорно отмена этих пошлин, мы уверены, увеличит объем нашего товарооборота и послужит общей цели достижения товарооборота в $200 миллиардов.
So to resolve this problem, we're supposing to resolve the intergovernmental the issue of the abolition of Indian import duties for Russian coal, so the both of our countries can achieve the goal of $200 billion of bilateral trade.
Ну и хотел бы закончить, что мы предлагаем все-таки работать с Министерством энергетики, с нашими уважаемыми коллегами, нашими компаниями не только в рамках поставок угля. И Индия, и Россия действительно работают над технологиями более экологической добычи угля, а также его использования как в металлургии, так и в электроэнергетике.
And of course, we're considering that Russian and Indian companies should work together not only in coal supply matters, but also in technology matters. The Russian Federation now is coal extraction, more clearly coal extraction technologies, which we can provide to the Indian side and which we can discuss in bilateral cooperation then, not only on coal supplies.
В первую очередь мы говорим о технологиях очистки сточных вод. Объем этой воды более 500 миллиарда тонн в год только в России. И о технологиях вторичного использования золы. Индия имеет на сегодня прорывные технологии в данном направлении. Почти 100% всей золы от сжигания угля вы используете в строительстве. 15 лет назад вы использовали не более 20%.
So first and foremost, we're talking about an innovative technology for water treatment from mines and energy, which has been created and successfully implemented in Russia. Second foreign was carbon chemistry, humic fertilizers, absorbers, and of course the ash purifying technology, which right now is very good, made in India.
Ряд этих технологий уже вошли в справочники наилучших доступных технологий в угольной промышленности, которые мы разрабатываем вместе с коллегами из Минпромторга.
And these innovative technologies was included in the directory of the best development technologies in Russia, which are making in collaboration with the Ministry of Industry and Trade of the Russian Federation and Ministry of Energy of the Russian Federation.
И хотел бы закончить на том, что буквально 12 апреля в России утверждена энергетическая стратегия до 2050 года.
And also I would like to highlight that at the April the 12th, 2025, Russia implemented a new energy strategy 2050.
И на уровне первого руководителя правительства Российской Федерации поддержано и утверждены выход на объем добычи российских углей к 2050 году более 600 миллионов тонн.
And there was implemented the opportunity of increasement of coal extraction in Russia to 600 million tons.
Как следствие, рост и экспорта российских углей.
So of course the export is going to be grown.
И хотели бы напомнить, что недавно мы официально уже направили свое предложение уважаемому господину Нарендра о проведении в ближайшее время, 30 апреля, подготовки на уровне заместителей министра энергетики с участием индийской стороны, выход к маю на разработку уже документов межправ, соглашений, о том, о чем я говорил выше, и, естественно, о чем будет доложено руководителю нашей страны.
We would like to highlight that we have sent an official letter to Mr. Narendra due to high quality preparation of this intergovernmental document I've mentioned before. We are proposing to have a meeting on the 30th of April in 2025 to discuss this intergovernmental cooperation on the very highest level.
При поддержке индийской стороны мы можем разработать данные документы уже к осени этого года и подписать их на российской энергетической неделе в Москве, куда мы вас сердечно приглашаем. Большое спасибо за предоставленное слово.
After the discussion of the intergovernmental documents we have mentioned lately, we can prepare all the documents needed by the autumn and sign them during a Russian Energy Week, which we all invite you to be part in. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Petr Babalov, for your inputs. So, considering the supplies from Russia to India, we have not only the product flow that is interesting to discuss, we also have a topic is when we are trying to supply some products to India, we need to comply with the BIS certification processes. So, and these two questions together is something that I would wanted to pass to our table to discuss. So please, dear participants, we would like to hear words from you on this particular topic, supplies from Russia to India and BIS certification. Thank you.
Hello? 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 Yes, finally. Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you. My name is Ivan Demchenko. I am the shareholder of Novostal M company. We are the biggest exporter of long steel products from Russia. We have two factories, 3.5 million ton production. We sincerely invite you, like this, yeah? Like this, you hear? Perfect. My name is Ivan Demchenko. I'm the owner of Novostal M company. We have 3.5 million tons of production, two factories. One of it stays next to Novorossiysk port. This is the biggest port in the south of Russia. And let's say we take the first place for the export of long steel products from Russia. It's a very big honor, sir, to be here, to present Russian metallurgy here. Also, we came here with a very big delegation. So we have here the biggest producers of ours. It's MMK, they're represented with a booth here as well. We have Yevraz here, we have OMK, Metallo Invest, so the biggest and the leaders of Russian metallurgy are here. And it's very, very important for us to have a very open and really important speech for both sides. I would say that when you mentioned about the figures that we do have in the coal work, it's millions and millions of tons of coal. But when we talk about the steel, unfortunately we don't even come to hundreds of thousands. But India has a very, very big task and aim to produce 300 million tons by 2030. And we had a very fruitful day today. We had so many nice discussions with your top companies, Jindal, GSW. We had a very nice meeting with SAIL. We had some conversations with the smaller producers, rolling mills. And actually what we can see that the rolling capacities in India are much higher than the melting capacities. And this is a very big thing that we see. We can cooperate together and we can go in times higher with the volumes that we can supply to the Indian market. What we see today that India receives steel billets from many different countries, Russia as well, but we see that Asian region supplies here a lot. Vietnam, even China supplies to India some of the steel billets. And the thing is that today we really face this problem that Russia has 15% import duty for the steel billets. Steel billets are the semi-products. You produce then wire rods, from wire rods you can produce screws, bolts, and so on. So the steel billet looks like the product which can be really effective in our common trade between the countries. And we really ask you the possibility to work together on import tariffs to make them equal with other countries, like the countries from Asian region or from Oman, for example, or Iran. And we see that the steel trade between the countries can grow, I guess, minimum 10 times. And if we can get to this point, we really see the possibility to work together. Even we can work in rupees, and we can offer different logistic possibilities from the country. And as we mentioned already about BIS standard, we started already the process. But the thing is that there are many different producers here, and if you could mention to us one exact window where we can go all together, not to wait for like years for the certification, but to make like a fast track, let's say, for all of us. We are really open for visitors, for auditors, and you are more than welcome to visit our factories in Russia. So I guess these are two main points that we do have in our pipeline. So if we proceed with this, I guess we can reach very, very big results, not only in oil and coal trade, but the steel as well can be top 3 in our really big trade work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Demchenko. Maybe someone from Indian side?
One second, please. Only 2 words. Уважаемый господин Сандип Пундрик, мы считаем это очень важным вопросом, потому что мы видим те темпы, с которыми сейчас развивается строительство гражданское, инфраструктурное, промышленное строительство в Индии.
So I would like to shortly interrupt and wanted to emphasize attention, esteemed Mr. Sandip Pundrik, that this topic is very important as soon as we see the pace of the infrastructural projects in India where the steel is required.
И с учетом наших двухсторонних взаимоотношений мы готовы поддержать продукции, готовы поддержать заготовкой. Но, к сожалению, сейчас условия, которые есть для Российской Федерации, они не равны с другими странами и не позволяют нам свою продукцию вам поставлять.
So, and we will be very honored to fulfill the demand of these projects and your industries with our steel products. However, we are somehow facing some barriers to our steel producers, like Russian steel producers, even like in comparison to some other countries.
Мы абсолютно уверены в качестве нашей продукции, мы соответствуем самым высоким мировым стандартам. Мы ранее поставляли на различные иностранные рынки и считаем, что наша продукция может быть востребована вашим рынком с учетом дебаланса мощностей по выплавке и по прокату.
So we can assure that our steel products are of a very high quality, the world standard quality, and we have been supplying a lot to the most markets in the world, and we are looking at India as a vector where we can supply our products at these high standards, and we also know and we consider that there is imbalance. We got this information from Indian companies between the melting like facilities and rolling facilities, and there is some imbalance that we can fulfill with our products.
Мы сегодня общались на уровне компаний и понимаем, что индийские компании также поддерживают эту инициативу, и просим вас рассмотреть вопрос снижения таможенных пошлин на импорт из Российской Федерации. Мы не просим каких-то отдельных специальных условий, просто создать недискриминационные условия с другими странами.
So we purposefully had some discussions today with the major business players of Indian steel industry, and they fulfill the aforementioned thesis. And to fulfill it, we would like to ask to kindly consider the decrease in the duty for our products, not to make some privilege, but to at least have our products on the same duty competitive level among others.
Ну и в завершении я бы хотел сказать, что я еще по совместительству возглавляю рабочую группу с российской стороны по всем сырьевым материалам, начиная от химии, удобрений, заканчивая как раз металлургией. И я бы попросил вас этот вопрос зафиксировать как вопрос на обсуждение на этой рабочей группе и, возможно, с дальнейшим вынесением его на межправкомиссию, которую возглавляет Денис Валентинович Мантуров.
So at this point, I would also like to share that I'm a co-chair of the working group, Indian-Russian working group, which is considering the topics of the raw materials, including chemical, fertilizers, and metallurgy, where we discuss this kind of intergovernmental challenges. And I would kindly ask to include the question and the point I've addressed to this the next working group, with a potential to including it to the next session of India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission, which is co-chaired by Honorable Denis Manturov.
Если мы найдем взаимовыгодное решение, я думаю, что от этого выиграют обе стороны. Спасибо.
If we find the appropriate solution for both parties on this level, it can benefit both of our countries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yurin. I would like to pass the word to the floor. One or two more, companies on the topic of supplies from Russia to India and BIS certification. Thank you.
Hello, am I audible? Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Dear ladies and hello.
Okay. Yes.
Is it okay?
Good afternoon. My name is Azat. I represent. If you want to go ahead. Okay. My name is Azat. I represent an LMK company, and I would like to say a couple words also on top of what my colleague said on the BIS certification, if I may. So first of all, I would like to say words of appreciation to Mr. Sandeep Pondrik and his team, to Vinod Tripathi and Abhijit Narendra. I don't see him here today. What I understand is that Ministry of Steel, we've been observing since the middle of the last year enormous effort to streamline and set order to all the import of the steel to India. And we really appreciate that. This brings transparency, and we collaborate on that subject. And one of the initiatives, and you, dear Sandeep, you mentioned that in the previous meeting, to put under quality control order basically all the steel which is coming, to ensure that only high quality steel is coming to India. However, in this domain of getting and especially getting and extending the BIS licenses, we as a local manufacturer and in my opinion a reliable importer of the CRGO steel and CRNO steel, we've been facing an issue in both in submitting new applications and getting the license, as well as renewal of the applications as a foreign manufacturer. So I got a feedback from my Russian colleagues who've been applying for the BIS license maybe 10 years ago, and at that time it was taking already more than a year to get the BIS license. Right now, basically a recent example with the IS 18316, for which we have applied for the semi-finished product, which we basically finalized at our manufacturing facility. We also face, unfortunately, the same issue. For now, it's been more than already 7 months since the date of publication in the Gazette for us collecting the documents and basically submitting, and hopefully we're going to get the license in the coming months. But still, my personal opinion is more than 7 months. It's a bit extensive, I would say. And also for the renewal. I think I'm not going to go too much into the details. Only I can say is that it really takes time, and it is a bit untransparent compared, for example, to our local renewal license, where everything on the website, very transparent procedure, prompt feedback as a foreign manufacturer for the import of some of the specialty products. It's very dark and obscure and untransparent. So my humble request would be, if possible, and what I understand is that there is enormous effort from the Ministry of Steel, but the BIS capacity to process all that efforts is not up to the, I would say, up to the speed from the Ministry of Steel. So humble request would be, if it's possible from the BIS side, to bring a bit of transparency, maybe a bit more resources, maybe the bottlenecking projects in obtainment of the licenses. We would really appreciate that, because it is really painful. For example, when the time of the renewal comes, me as a CEO of an LMK India, I'm really concerned, because if I don't get the license in time, we stop the shipments, then there is a disruption in the supply chain, and we have to keep the excessive volumes of stock, and etc., etc. Thank you very much.
Okay. My name is Yulia Ignatova. I'm the head of export for KUMS, Kamensk-Uralsky Metallurgical Works.
Please speak close to the mic.
Close to the, поближе? Okay, sorry about it. Yeah, that's good. Yulia Ignatova, head of export at KUMS, KUMZ, Kamensk-Uralsky Metallurgical Works. We are one of the leading producers of semi-finished products in aluminium in Russian market, and we have a very long, like 15 more years experience of supplying the products in India and collaborating with Indian companies. We supply the products which are our range of products quite full, and the full spectrum of aluminium alloys. I would like to support my colleague who has just been posing his question regarding the timing of BIS certification. Since our mill applied for BIS certification for more than a year already, and it's pretty painful for us, and I guess for all our customers here in India, that we are still not certified, and we would like to ask also for the support in shortening the periods of BIS certification and making it more transparent and speeding up. We support the initiative of Indian government and BIS in adding the quality to the products which come to the country, but the transparency and timing, please, shall be somehow changed. And the second question, which I do have, I know that BIS and Ministry are making a lot of efforts right now to update Indian standards, to make them new and following the requirement of industry. But the spectrum of products which are supplied to the country, mainly in aluminium, is much larger than there is in Indian standards. We just would like to offer and to recommend to make the standards, Indian standards, more modern and following the requirements of industries in terms of products and grades. Thank you very much for efforts of this committee and this round table and for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
We have time for one more address on this topic before we switch to the next one.
This one, it doesn't. What?
You had mentioned that you want to increase your supply to India. Why don't you start the warehousing in India, that you supply and keep the material and then supply, then you can distribute from there. Rather than when you get the order and LC, India, you are ready to supply ruble also. As you said, rupee trade you are ready to do. So it is easy for you to supply to India, keep the warehousing goods here, so that your supply could increase and people could take it off the shelf, because our infrastructure projects are growing, our requirement is growing, and you have a opportunity to deal with India. You have been dealing with India for so many years. You have no bad experience. So why don't you make an effort? Like in LNG and gas also, you are making an effort to start a warehousing here and supply. So similarly, you can do it in the steel and steel products.
Yes, may I answer? Sir, we are ready to do all the work like we do all around the world. In Latin America, Middle East, we are ready to open a warehouse here. No problem absolutely to put some material here, but the main issue is import tariffs for now. So if we solve this problem, believe me, we'll bring the material here, we'll make stocks to make all the provision to the Indian factories like stable 100%. This is my word. So if it's possible to lower the tariffs, it will work definitely.
Good.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Unfortunately, I have to attend to some other meetings, so I would have to leave. But Mr. Mikhail Yurin has kindly agreed that this dialogue will continue between business to business and other issues, so that those can be taken up. Some of the issues I would try to respond to, which were raised by the industry. One was, I think the predominant issue was about BIS certification timing. The time being taken by BIS. We have a representative of BIS in this meeting, so I will request him to note down the concerns of the industry. We are aware that in some cases time is being taken because of many items which were not earlier in BIS have been brought, a lot of new QCOs, so BIS is finding it difficult to sort them out immediately, but we will take steps to get the process streamlined to the maximum possible. One more thing is which I could not mention, was about specialty steel like NLMK. There are many specialty grade steels which are being made in Russia. I will request if those can be made in India in collaboration with Indian companies or on their own. One thing which was mentioned about the duty on coal imports, so that's a point, because there is no free trade agreement between Russia and India, so because of that the 2.5% duty is there. We would see how it can be resolved. we will bring it to the notice of the Ministry of Finance. I again thank the Russian delegation and especially His Excellency Mr. Mikhail Yurin, who is leading the delegation, who have come to India and to India Steel Conference. I assure you that as suggested by you, we will take this discussion further, and then as suggested, we can have a higher level discussion in near future so that all these points can be sorted out and we have a partnership as well as collaboration to increase the trade in steel sector between India and Russia. Thank you.
In token of appreciation. So, in token of appreciation to Excellency Yurin for taking out his time, I'll request Secretary Steel to give a moment.
Thank you so much, dignitaries. And now, due to the timing, we are shifting to the next topic, which is as interesting as the previous one, is the technology sharing in the steel sector between our companies. And I would like to share, I personally was on one of the events of Ministry of Steel considering the SRTMI scheme like introduction, and it looks very promising. And I will add also one more topic on here is technology sharing and collaboration in decarbonization of the steel sector. And I know that like Indian steel industry made a huge and good steps here, and for the next part, I would like to pass the floor to the table to discuss this particular topic. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to all the delegates present in this room. I'll just talk briefly about what SRTMI is. It's a Steel Research Technology Mission of India and is a joint initiative between steel industry and academia supported by Ministry of Steel. And it's dedicated to fostering innovation and advancement in research and development in the steel sector by bridging critical gaps between industry and academia. In March 2025, we have recently launched 3 research and development schemes under SRTMI, trying to promote innovations through academia researchers and industry partnership, as well as by encouraging startups to come up in this sector. We have also developed a Steel Collab platform, which is a matchmaking platform between industry and academia. So these, and also SRTMI has a very important goal to foster international cooperation and bring in international expertise to encourage R&D and technological innovation in India. So we have had earlier interaction with the Russian team, and there was interest shown for technological collaboration through SRTMI platform between India and Russia, and we are really keenly looking forward to any kind of knowledge sharing or technological handholding or co-development of technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have time for two more three points from the floor. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'll repeat one more time to Mrs. Verma. You are more than welcome to visit our factories in Russia, and we invite all Indian specialists to visit and to share the technology that we do have in rolling mills, in melting shops. And if you don't mind, I will switch a bit already to the next topic about decarbonized steel. And I'm the head of Green Steel Association in Russia. And you know that Russia passed a very difficult pace from really black steel to the green steel. And I can really mention that more than 1/3 of the steel in Russia is electrometallurgical steel. So we use electric arc furnace to melt the steel scrap, to melt DRI, HBI, for the production of the green steel with zero waste. Yeah, and so it's there is no CO2 trace for the ecology, and it's very, very important. We see that this point becomes very important for Indian companies. First of all, because you are looking for decarbonized steel, but it's not only a trend in India. We see the same story happening in Asia, in Russia, in Turkey, in the States, in Latin America. And this is the technology that we are totally open to share, how we prepare the steel scrap, how we buy it, how we melt it, and what the product we receive in the end. And again, you are more than welcome to visit us in Russia, and we are totally ready to share all the experience that we do have. So, sab kuch milega.
Thank you so much. So I would just like to add that decarbonization and production of green steel is one of the very important focus areas of Ministry of Steel as well. And we have already released a roadmap for decarbonization. We are the first country to develop a taxonomy of green steel, and as well as we are supporting pilots in green hydrogen and also coming up with CCUS mission. So we would definitely look forward to have a collaborative interaction with you. And let's take this forward, and SRTMI could be one of the platforms to exchange the ideas and information through which we can take this forward. Thank you.
Sure, we communicate with each other in the end of the... You hear? Russ? So we'll send you all the invitations, and after the conference we'll talk to each other, okay?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have time for one last point, if any. If none, I would pass the word to the Deputy Minister Mikhail Yurin for the closing.
No. Dear colleagues, please.
Sorry.
Please turn on microphone.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me? This is regarding the development of specialty steel. So as Secretary Steel was saying that we can have a collaboration in the development of special steel along with the SAIL and NLMK, where we can have a joint collaboration for developing specialty steel and as well as some corrosion resistant rails which are required for the Indian Railways in the coastal areas. So these are the two areas where we can collaborate further, Russia as well as NLMK from Russia and in India as a SAIL as a partner. That is my proposal.
Thank you so much. And now I would like to pass the word to Mr. Yurin for the closing words of this roundtable.
Уважаемые коллеги, хочу всех поблагодарить за конструктивную работу.
Dear colleagues, I would like to thank all of you and everyone for thoughtful and detailed work.
Как видно из состоявшейся дискуссии, у нас достаточно много тем и много вопросов, которые можно прорабатывать совместно.
According to the discussion we had today, we have lots to discuss and to work on throughout in future.
И господин Сандип Пундрик сказал, что даст свои поручения со своей стороны. Я также хотел бы сказать, что я дам соответствующие поручения и в министерстве, и компаниям со своей стороны.
So as Mr. Sandeep Pundrik addressed that he will give the agenda for the respected departments according to the topics discussed. From myself, I could tell that I will do the same in Russia.
И предлагаю основные вопросы обсудить в следующий раз уже на площадке рабочей группы по сырьевым материалам.
And I would like to propose to have a next round of discussions of such type on the base of the working group, India-Russia working group on raw materials.
Поэтому еще раз всем большое спасибо и всем продолжаем работу на благо наших стран.
Therefore, I would like to one more time thank everyone who've been participating in today's roundtable, and we are going to work hard and productively in future together. Thank you.